literacy at Ingenuity Prep and the founder of Hopeful Horizons, a nonprofit that provides academic and social emotional support, as well as community service opportunities for students in DC. In just a moment, I'm going to turn it over to each of our participants to talk about some of the challenges the students they serve are facing, particularly as we begin what will be a long recovery journey from the pandemic. But first, I want to acknowledge that earlier this week, as part of National Charter Schools Week, Davian was recognized as a 30 under 30 change maker by the National Alliance for Public Charter Schools. The 30 under 30 change makers are students, activists, and school leaders from across the country who are having a meaningful impact in their communities in arts, writing, politics, leadership, science, and social justice. Congratulations, Davian. He was honored with this distinction because of his work with students at Ingenuity Prep and with Hopeful Horizons to ensure they have the academic and social emotional skills to thrive in the 21st century as impactful civic leaders. We're very proud of that accomplishment. I'd like to turn it over first to Davian. Can you tell us a little bit about why you founded Horizons and some of the work you're currently doing with your students?
Thanks, Ramona. I started Hopeful Horizons in 2018 after noticing a trend at my school, a trend that exists widely at many other schools across the country, that many of our Black and brown boys were being disproportionately referred for behavior support or suspensions, and were generally performing lower academically, especially in literacy. And we know there's a myriad of reasons of why that could and probably is the case. But from my experience as a teacher, I definitely saw a connection between the two. My boys would struggle in tough moments because of two key reasons. Some were performing below grade level, so they would disrupt the lesson or their peers or completely disengage as a means of escaping the work, while others didn't have the social emotional capacity at the time to really push through when they became frustrated by rigorous work or by a peer and would consequently act out. And I just ultimately wanted to create a safe space and supportive space for what I truly believe is one of America's most vulnerable groups, which is boys of color. So we essentially started a free after-school program at my current school, Ingenuity Prep, with a vision of a more holistic development approach that will provide academic and social emotional support, purposeful mentorship, and opportunities to engage in community building and community service events such as our community cleanups, our canned food drive, and our PB sandwich making drive for those in need. So in 2018, we started with roughly 30 boys, all at my school, but have expanded to include some online programming as of last year as a direct result of the pandemic, including a newly launched program we've named Black Boys Book Bunch that now has reached more than 150 second through sixth graders in DC, Maryland, Virginia, and New Jersey. Black Boys Book Bunch, or what we like to call hashtag BBBB, is a free virtual biweekly book club open to boys of color living in the DC metro area. And again, I want to make sure that these boys have the opportunity to continue to build a love of literacy because we know that they're not going to grow in literacy if they don't love it, but also have the opportunity to read and engage with some really interesting and rigorous texts on their grade level. Many students lost access to those high quality texts once schools stopped in-person instruction, once libraries closed or had limited access, and a lot of students mentioned that they pretty much had no books at home in an at-home library. So with the support of the Walton Family Foundation, 4.0 Schools, the Vela Fund, and a lot of my friends, families, and other supporters, we were able to raise more than $60,000 to ship, at this point, more than 3,000 brand new free books to boys of color that feature main characters of color and cover topics of Black history, Blackness, identity, inclusion, and diversity.
Fantastic. And now we see why you are one of the 30 under 30 in the nation doing this work. Congratulations.